Okay, so when we're drawing a cone, if we're to look at it head on or from the bottom, we'd see that it's a circle. But if we look at it from the side, directly on, it looks more like a triangle. So depending on what angle we look at it, that foreshortening is going to come into play again. So we also have to pay attention to that light source again. And I'll go ahead and start with an upside down letter V. Okay, or like I'm drawing an A, but instead doing that, and I'm drawing darker than you would, you're going to draw lighter. Then I'm going to draw the curve down here at the bottom instead of a straight line. Okay, and then when I've got that how I want it to, then I'm going to shade. So remember we talked about our light source, the direction that the light is coming from. Okay, so when we're thinking about that, we're going to go ahead and choose our light source. So let's go ahead and try a different angle again. So I've got my sun, and it's sending down its warm rays onto my cone. Okay, there's my light source. Okay, and so what I want you to do is when you're drawing, I want you to be careful about your shading and make sure that you are shading a certain direction. So you're going to be tempted when you're shading to shade like this, okay? But that's going to defeat the purpose of making it look like it's three-dimensional. So when you're shading, you really want to try to shade with your cone like this. So your direct lines are all going towards that point, okay? So if my light source, if it's coming from this direction, then my shadow is going to be the opposite way. So again, I'm adjusting my pressure, going from dark and slowly getting lighter. And I might have to go back and fill in some areas. And I can take my paper towel or blending stump and blend towards my light source. And then we want to remember that cast shadow. Okay, so we've got the light coming this way, so it's going to cast a shadow the opposite direction. So if I were to put my cylinder or my cone right here, you can see where this cast shadow is right here. Okay, so it's like a triangle, and then it also has kind of some secondary cast shadows, so it tends to distort them. And so I'm going to just shade in using the side of my pencil. And then things are going to get darker. Also shade underneath, so it's hitting that surface of the table. So it looks like it's on the surface. And then if you need to, you can change the angle of your paper too. Okay, and there you have it. So now we can start thinking about how we can combine shapes. So we've talked about the cube, we've talked about the cylinder, and we've talked about the cone now. So let me set those aside. So now you can start combining shapes. So the first one I want to show you is the cube. So just like before, we're going to use our two dots. And then I can't really fit my finger in there in the middle, so I'm just going to space them apart as best I can. And then I'm going to draw, again I'm drawing darker because I'm drawing on camera. I'm going to draw and connect to make my foreshortened square. That looks like a rhombus. And then I'm going to do my parallel vertical lines that are even, and then make that center line that looks like it's longer, but it's really not. Come down, and now I've got a table, right? So when I connect my sides and make them parallel, now I've got a box. Well, now I'm going to stack that. So I'm going to come out from this corner right here and draw a second dot. So I'm going to stack a box on top of a box, and then I'm going to have one over here. Okay, and then I'm going to come down from the point right here, this vertex, and I'm going to make a dot to where this line will be parallel with this line, so a little bit higher. And then I'm going to connect that, and then this one should be parallel with this one. And then you're going to be tempted to go here, but you're going to want to angle it up. So this line should be parallel to this side. And then this one and this one should be parallel. And now you've got a box sitting on a rug. Okay? And then so again, I can add another box below it. So I'll bring down, just like before, these points to make my sides, and then a longer one in the middle, and oh, now I've got a box sitting on a table. Okay, I want to make these parallel, these parallel, so now I've got a box on a box, and I could keep going on for forever. I could make one that's even bigger. Now I've got cube on top of a cube on top of a rectangular prism. Okay, and then I could even make a smaller one. So I would just make two parallel dots here, narrower from the inside, and then I come down with my lines. And then I just extend this line in the middle. And now it's like I've got, you know, a Minecraft tree or maybe an ice cream cone. You can do a similar thing with cylinders. So I start with that oval at the top, and I bring my lines down. And then I mimic this. Remember, I don't want to do a straight line, I want to do a curved line. So I imitate that shape by air tracing it. And then I've got my cylinder. And then I can do my next one. And now it's like I've got Abraham Lincoln's hat or a top hat, right? And I can bring this down. And then maybe I have a cake. Or even it could be, if I made a smaller one, maybe it's a Lego minifig. So you're going to see all the different things that you can do once you start combining shapes. So then you can make things like, I've got my cone, and I combine it with a cylinder. Then I can turn this into a rocket ship. Okay, so you're combining these 3D forms, these geometric solids, as they're called in math, and you are creating composite forms or composite shapes. So you are combining these to make realistic objects.